Like and subscribe and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week.
10 deadly roller coaster disasters. For over a century, roller coasters and other amusement park rides have always been the way to go if we want to walk the line between scary and fun. But what happens when things get a little too scary? Let's take an awe-inspiring ride upon 10 deadly roller coaster disasters. Number 10. Wildcat, Bell's Amusement Park. This roller coaster picked the wrong day to fail. It was April 20th, 1997, and the Bell's Amusement Park was completely full. At the time, they were doing a one-time 25-cent per ride promotion. Nobody in their right mind would have missed that. The ride that everybody was waiting for was the Wildcat roller coaster, a roller coaster that had already been testing the locals' nerves since it was open in 1974. The lines were absolutely jammed-packed. Unfortunately, not everybody experienced the thrill. One of the ride's cars reached the top of the highest hill and then stalled out. There was a safety device that was meant to keep it from sliding back, but it broke, and the car slipped 45 feet back down the track, making a direct collision with another car. One boy lost his life, while 6 other people were injured. Coming up next is the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Who would have thought a day at Disneyland would end up like this? Number 9. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. In 1979, there was great enthusiasm at Disneyland when Mickey Mouse unveiled the Runaway Mine Train theme ride, complete with caves, mine shafts, and a desert landscape. The train consisted of a small locomotive and 5 cars that carried 32 people. The ride was everyone's favorite until 2003 when a fatal accident happened. The train had just shot up a hill and into the tunnel, like always during the ride, but the wheel assembly fell off the locomotive, jamming one of the axles and causing the back end of the locomotive to kick up, crashing the car into the ceiling of the tunnel. The derailed part of the train was the front car, which had a rider who got crushed in the process. 10 other riders were also injured. The accident was blamed on poor maintenance practices. Number 8. WILLARD'S WHIZZER, Marriott's Great America Amusement Park. Now, who said a roller coaster has to be extremely fast to cause an accident? This roller coaster peaks at a modest 70 feet high and clocks in at a paltry 42 miles per hour. But this has nothing to do with the accident since the ride hadn't even started yet. A boy was just stepping onto the ride when a second train suddenly came up behind the one he was boarding and smashed into it. The impact was so hard that it knocked the boy onto the tracks, where the runaway train then passed, crushing his chest and abdomen. 8 other riders were also injured in the collision. Unbelievably and thankfully, nobody was lost due to this incident. The accident was said to be caused by malfunctioning of the safety mechanism and an electric signal that disrupted the roller coaster's computer, causing the train to wildly strike another one in the loading area. We started off with a few simplistic roller coasters, but they're getting more and more dangerous as we move up the list. We're getting into a territory where I don't even know if I would ever board one of these roller coasters. Number 7. FUJIN RAIJIN 2 EXPOLAND. This roller coaster takes the crown in picking the wrong day to fail. May 5th, 2007 was Japan's Children's Day. It was supposed to be a fun day with the children, but fate seems to have another idea, and it was a cruel one. A roller coaster accident left 1 person lifeless and 19 injured. It started as a normal day at the amusement park. In the early afternoon, 20 passengers got on the FUJIN RAIJIN roller coaster to have the best time of their life. Halfway through the ride, the second car derailed and tilted dramatically to the left towards the handrail. Unfortunately, this caused a woman to strike her head on the railing as the coaster roared down the tracks. The accident was said to have been caused by a broken wheel axle, which the park maintenance people hadn't inspected. Number 6. Derby Racer, Revere Beach. On this coaster, never had a game of chicken turned into a tragedy until this moment. Any day at Revere Beach was always fun, and the Derby Racer made it even more fun. 2 trains racing together down parallel tracks to a finish line at the bottom of the ride is a very exciting moment that teenagers love. But one day, things didn't turn out as expected. In 1911, a rider of the roller coaster ironically got injured as he stood to lecture other passengers about safety. But the real tragedy happened in 1917. A young man lost his hat as the train headed up a steep incline. As the man reached out for it, he fell out of the car onto another track. There, he was hit by another oncoming car. The car pulled him over 10 meters before coming to a stop. And sadly, this rider didn't make it. If there's anything to learn from this disaster, if you're riding a ride, a roller coaster, any kind of ride, if you drop something or you lose something, a hat, a phone, whatever it may be, try to remember to be safe and don't leap out or reach for it. Number 5. Wild Wonder, Wonderland Pier. Gillian's Wonderland Pier is an amusement park located on the north end of New Jersey's Boardwalk. Here, people get to relax and enjoy not only the beaches, but also the Wild Wonder roller coaster. With this kind of festive carnival vibe, it wasn't a surprise to find the park full. However, as it seems with this list, when a park's full, disaster seems to strike. The coaster was working well and it just rolled around the 90-degree curve. It was just about to ascend over this curve when it stopped at a 12.5-meter height due to a device malfunction. The train went back into the turn. Unfortunately, this malfunction caused a safety bar to let a mother and her daughter in their seats go, thus ejecting them. They hit the roller coaster's walls before falling 10 feet to the ground below. Sadly, these riders would not make it. Number 4. MINDBENDER Fantasyland. The MINDBENDER roller coaster is the largest indoor triple-loop coaster. You'd think that because it happened indoors, it may have been less tragic, but that's not the case. The most shocking thing is that this incident happened only a day after the safety inspector declared the ride safe. It didn't even finish its third loop before stalling at the top and sliding backward into a concrete column. 3 riders perished, while another 15 were injured. When investigations were done, it was declared that missing bolts in a wheel assembly are what caused the accident. The ride was closed, the amount of cars were shortened, and eventually the ride was reopened. Even after they said they fixed it, I doubt I'd ever get on that ride. Number 3. Big Dipper, Battersea Park. All the way at number 3, we now know that most of these roller coaster disasters seem to have happened due to mechanical failure, and that theme continues with the Big Dipper coaster in 1972. Interestingly enough, the park had already experienced disasters in the past, but none of them were serious enough to get both the coaster and the park shut down. This one was the last one to ever happen in Battersea Park, losing lives in one late afternoon of 5 children, with another 13 injured. 31 people had boarded the coaster for a thrill. Minutes after the coaster took off, a lift chain was released early at the top of the first incline. This sent the cars plummeting backwards down the hill and into a turn in reverse. Excitement turned to terror really fast and ended really ugly. This led to the park's manager actually being charged with manslaughter, although they were cleared in trial. The park would then go on to shut its doors, and the Big Dipper coaster was demolished. And with that, it's now time for today's best pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber, so if you come across a photo online and you want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it in our future video. Number 2. Roller coaster in Disneyland Paris. Theme parks are supposed to demonstrate what it means to have a fun family time. And when tragic things like this happen, it's just sad. Seeing this roller coaster flying in the air may seem real, but thankfully it's not. This photo's been used as a thumbnail in many roller coaster videos. It actually originated from a Facebook video with the caption, "OMG, an accident on roller coaster in Disneyland Paris." Thankfully, it's a declared fake, and just a way to catch victims to open malicious applications trying to take down your computer. So now that you know that this image is fake, be careful if you ever see it pop up. Number 1. Rough Riders, Coney Island. There's nothing quite as tragic as thinking of these people who wake up on a summer morning thinking they'll have an enjoyable day at the park, with the day ending as a rider's body strikes you as you're watching the ride from the ground. This is what happened in 1915. The Rough Riders roller coaster was known for operating much like a modern subway. Each train had a driver and an electric motor that was powered by a third rail, which sent its riders up hills and around corners. On this day, 6 people boarded the ride and were having a blast while recalling scenes from the war, when suddenly the wheels of the train left the track. It flipped the car on its side and hurled the driver and 4 passengers into a weak iron rail 30 feet above the pavement. 3 fell to their demise before they could hold on to the handrail, while a woman and her son clung to it and waited for the police to rescue them. Talk about holding on to one's life literally. One bystander was injured when the driver fell onto them. I don't know about you guys, but these rides now sound more like doom machines rather than fun rides. Does this make you rethink roller coasters? Let us know in the comments down below.